time for a soiree. It's soiree
time.
Our mother. Oh, it is Thursday, which means it is a free-for-all. Anything goes. Anything goes here on the mothership. Chance the Soulless Ginger Rapper at.
No.
I tried.
Don't.
I couldn't do it.
I'm not going to say anything.
Wasn't a Satan
It wasn't
burp.
Satan-y.
We can't get in the habit of that.
I know. Yeah.
Of burping on the show.
No, that's saved from my show, Beer for Brunch. We
Yeah.
just burp.
Exactly.
Do you?
Yeah.
Just in case, at the helm is, well, I like this regime change we got over here. No Mark, no Puppet Master, no Candice, the Queen of the Ethiopians. Don't even miss them.
Ooh.
Don't even miss them.
People are going to be
I bet
What do you think about that?
after a few months, we'll probably miss them.
You think so?
Yeah.
No. We miss them.
Well, they ran and jumped off of a lover's leap lane thing. They'll go, ah.
Really?
No, Mark's still here. Candace, I think, I don't know what Candace is doing. I think she's a little under the weather or something, had a sniffle. Not COVID, just had a little sniffle. But we precaution everything around here at BlazeTV, Party Foul Steve.
Yeah.
We do everything.
Got to be safe.
We believe in it.
Yeah.
That is the thing that pisses me off, though, is I've never said don't wear a mask. I've said wear it if you want to wear it. I've never told you not to wear a mask, right? I've never said that the thing, did that give you chills?
No.
I've never said that it's a hoax.
Right.
I've never said that it's not real. In fact, we did a whole episode with a doctor on here talking about how it's real, it's contagious, but it's just not killing everybody the way people thought that it was going to.
Yes.
Right. So, do your thing, man. But we are safe. We try to be safe around here. We're social distanced, I think. I mean, we don't have like on the NFL how they got plexiglass between the announcers and stuff, which it just gets dumb to me.
Right.
Or when they're in studio and then rather than having an interview, they're all 15 feet apart from each other. It's like, okay.
Or when the coaches take the mask off to scream at the top of their lungs, I'm like, well, there goes that safety.
No, what I love is when the coaches who have their little play cards on the sidelines, they're wearing masks and they still cover their mouth like this. Because they do that so people won't read their lips.
It's a habit.
But they're wearing a mask and they still cover their mouth like that so nobody will see it.
Well, that's habit.
I think it was Andy Reid. I think that was him that had the clear
shield on there. Yeah.
Oh.
And then
Didn't
him
he
and Bill
coach for the
Belichick,
Chiefs
Monday Night
or
Football,
something?
when they came out to shake hands, they elbow bumped. Things like that. That's the world we live in now. Yeah, I swear to God, we're living in a simulation at this point. Mm-hmm. It's a simulation. I don't. It's in the Matrix or something. Somebody hit a switch. 2020 sucks. Eddie Van Halen passed away.
I know.
65 years old, had throat cancer. Sad deal.
It's like one of those infomercials for 2020. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. You just thought dragons were a myth.
And I heard the murder hornets were coming back.
The what was?
I've heard that we are getting a revisit from the murder hornets.
Oh, really?
I did hear that. Mhm.
Well, that's exciting.
I saw a T-shirt yesterday that said 2020 ain't got shit on my ex-wife. I was like, yes.
Not setting the clocks back. I can tell you that November 1st because I don't want any extra hours of 2020.
Seriously, no
Oh,
fallback.
that's crazy. Things will normalize after the election to some degree. But I will tell you that there are innocent people that are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. It's happening around the country. When government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most folks don't have time to consistently train, plus ammo. Trust me, ammo is really freaking expensive. I just had another 1,000 rounds delivered yesterday. It's expensive. iTarget Pro was invented to solve that problem. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all the major calibers. It includes .223 and .556, so you get to stay sharp with almost any firearm you own. So today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping with offer code CHAD, C-H-A-D. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days of practice. That's the letter I, targetpro.com. itargetpro.com. Use offer code CHAD. Be right back. See, it's because I have a hiatal hernia.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I got a bubbled up hiatal hernia. I've got to get fixed.
And that's causing you to have excessive Satan-y burps.
Well, it's how I'm able to make that sound with the burp. And unless you're in person with me, you really can't. It's got to be in person.
So are you saying you're going to get that fixed and then you won't have this anymore?
I hope that's true.
Oh, I kind of...
Will it just
makes me
make
sad.
you lose a little part of me?
Yeah.
Well, I have a little more esophagus above my diaphragm, and they need to stretch that sucker out.
Okay.
Yeah. I can feel one bubbling up right now.
I've had the surgery, so.
It's painful. Well, it's pain. I live in pain.
Yeah.
I live in constant pain because of it, and I don't want to get the
Well, I don't want that for
the
you.
esophageal
I want you to be...
reflux and all that stuff.
You start getting esophageal erosion.
Well, see, it was bad. Like even yesterday, we were having lunch, and I mean, just to swallow food. Now you would think I would be skinnier.
Well, after that,
I managed to get through the pain.
After that surgery, you'll drop some weight because you can't eat very little at a time, like a tablespoon of food a couple of times a day.
He'll eat through it.
You know what the trick is? Apple cider vinegar every day.
Do you do
drink
that?
it.
That will not fix the.
No, it won't
hiatal
fix it.
hernia.
It won't fix it, but it does help.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I got a lot of theories. So does Joe Biden. Joe Biden wants to make Roe v. Wade law. We were going to talk about this yesterday.
No.
It was almost there.
Isn't that considered settled law? I thought it was. I guess considered, but
Let's take a look at this clip.
Considering the new Supreme Court nomination of Amy Coney Barrett, what are your particular plans to protect women's reproductive rights in the U.S.?
Number one, we don't know exactly what she will do, although the expectation is that she may very well move to overrule Roe. But the only responsible response to that would be to pass legislation making Roe the law of the land. That's what I would do.
Law of the land. Law of the land. That's pretty strong. Well, you know my theory. They're not going to overturn Roe v. Wade. They keep talking about that, trying to make it like it's some big threat, and I don't think they're going to do that.
But he says he's going to make it the law of the land if he's elected.
Yeah.
well, I don't think they should let anybody that's been in politics for 40 years run for president. How about that? Make that a law.
47 years.
Yeah, make that
Imagine
law.
having a guy take 47 years to build you a house, and you're going to give him 4 more.
I know.
It's just dumb. And he said, what was it? He said that he guarantees that if he's elected president, that he is going to bring together. Let me pull that tweet up real quick.
Yeah, I've had a lot of practice, so this time I'm going to get it right.
Yeah. He said on Twitter the other day, because I was like, oh, really? Oh, really, Joe? Are you really? He says that I give you my word, if I am elected president, I will marshal the ingenuity and goodwill of this nation to turn division into unity and bring us closer.
What did he do with the first 47 years? Like,
well, I'm sure
ridiculous.
that those radical leftists out there that are ready to put their mayors to the guillotine are really going to listen to Joe. I'm not going to unite with Antifa or BLM.
No, absolutely not.
No. So, sorry, Marxism's not our way of life. It's just not. So, I mean, what are you doing, Joe? You pinky swear promise, dude?
Well, do we really need to be listening to Joe, or do we need to be listening to what Pence pulls out of Kamala? You know, because that's the one. What is she going to do?
Yeah. I mean, 47 years in office, 8 of those years vice president of the United States. This time it's supposed to be different. Kamala Harris has never done anything. I mean, the Obama administration
she's done some
created
stuff.
and empowered the creatures that are burning the cities now. There's no question about that. I want to know how Joe Biden really thinks he's going to do that whenever Antifa is just an idea, right?
This is a guy who wrote the crime bill of what? Was that 96? That was
94.
94?
But yeah,
It's
yeah. The I mean, Jill Biden's writing that tweet, right? But I mean, to say, I don't like when you start using the word martial. I will marshal the ingenuity and good. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
You go martial law? I mean, that's now he didn't use it the same way. The martial law is martial. He said marshal. I know what he means. He's going to, bring it all together. But you've never done that, Joe. You've never done that. So 47 years, he hasn't done a single thing. But I tell you what he has done. I wouldn't trust him to babysit my kids, much less.
It's not me, Mom.
It's Mom. It's Natalie's doing it again.
Me.
I wouldn't trust him to do that, much less run the country.
Yeah.
I don't see how 51% of America can be polled and say that they would trust Joe Biden, who overturn is going to run the country.
That's exactly how I just said that.
I mean, give me a break, man.
Are we going to know who's president by this time next month?
No.
We won't.
No.
Well, if we get out and vote.
Yeah, November.
We get out and vote.
I think landslide's so big that it
That's what I'm asking.
Blowout landslide.
That's what I'm asking. Do you guys think by this time next month we'll know who the president is? Okay.
I think so.
You do think so?
I think more people are going to vote on our side, versus on the right than on the left.
Okay.
Today is the 8th of October, and I think that we will not know.
Okay.
Because they're going to push it out. Even if it's a blowout, they're still going to push it out and say, well, we got to do all the mail-ins.
Now, they said they wouldn't do that. They said if it's a blowout, if it's a landslide, they wouldn't do that.
They're going to do it.
They have to. Just as we would do the same.
I mean, Chance, Justin, do y'all think we're going to know who the president is by this time next month? Justin.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Okay.
I got $20 on it. How much you want to bet?
$20. Ooh.
You would really put money to it?
Let's do it.
Maybe 5.
Yeah, I would. I was just saying. I was going to say to Steve, I bet you $20 we won't know.
Steve, you want to go in with me and we can?
I'm betting $20. I'll put $20 that we'll know.
All right.
Gosh.
Public wager, folks.
Yeah.
Public wager. Laying it down. We will not know who the president.
We didn't shake on it.
Who the president-elect is on the 9th of November.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
Wait, you said the night of. You said by the 8th. By this time next month. I meant.
No, I didn't say the night of.
Oh, okay.
I said the 9th.
Oh, 9th.
The 9th. 8th or 9th of November.
Okay.
We won't know.
Okay.
But, Biden the other day said in Miami, he made his little creepy comment about the girls dancing. It's like, the guy can't get out of his own way, man. He said school-age children had danced, and he said he can't wait to see them dance again once they're 4 years older. Sounds creepy. I understand what he was trying to get across. In other words,
trying to say with 4 more years of experience.
Well, no. What he's trying to say is in 4 more years, when he's running again for a second term, that he'll be doing these campaign stops and he'll watch them dance again. But to say you want to watch kids dance again is just weird. Like, I'm assuming that's what he was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he'll be 900 years old in 4 more years. And I don't think he's going to be able to run for a second term. In fact, I don't think he's going to, if he was elected president, I don't think he's going to serve 12 weeks, much less 2 terms.
Okay.
Right? So, how about old Trump, though? We haven't talked about this all week long. I mean, Trump comes out and smacks down the coronavirus and then gets off of Marine One, walks up on the balcony of the White House, takes that mask off, shoves it in his pocket, and they're like, shortness of breath. Looks like he's short of breath. Well, he just climbed the stairs.
Right.
With a mask on, and now he's taking a deep breath. He's back home.
And he did have COVID.
Like, and he's got, and he did have COVID.
To be recovering.
Yeah. And I mean, he just takes a deep breath. Basically, it's his way of saying the guy's not an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He does his little deep breath. Coronavirus there. And he gives a salute. Pow!
Boom.
And then you saw Bill de Blasio mocking him, standing on the. I don't know how this is supposed to be some kind of picture of strength by standing on the front of City Hall, I guess, there in New York City, Bill de Blasio, and he straps the mask on, he pulls it out, and he puts it on real hard like that. And I'm like, you must have learned that by watching your wife strap something else on. But the
Wow.
He's trying to be like a gunslinger or something.
like, we'll show you, President Trump. Then he does his salute. Wah! And goes in.
Who's he saluting? I thought everybody left.
And I guarantee,
They're gone.
And I guarantee you, when he walked inside that building, he took that stupid mask off.
There ain't nobody there to salute
He's
you.
out, right? You think he'll be voted out?
De Blasio?
Yeah.
They can't stand him.
Yeah.
They can't stand him in New York. You want to talk about a guy who took one of the greatest cities in the world and drove it into the freaking ground. I mean, the guy is a moron. Pure moron. But Joe Biden, he says if Trump still has the COVID, no debate, no second debate. I say if Trump has any facts or logic, Joe's going to say no debate. Let's play this clip right here.
I'm looking forward to being able to debate him, but I just hope all the protocols are followed, what's necessary at the time.
Do you feel safe in the same room as somebody who still may have COVID?
Well, I think if he still has COVID, we shouldn't have a debate.
Well,
See that?
He's full of shit. How about if you have COVID, y'all just wear a mask because they work and stay 6 feet apart?
Did you see what just happened with his mask?
It fell.
In that clip, it fell. His nose was exposed. He takes his hand, he puts it up there and adjusts it. I'm sorry, that's not. Yeah. You realize, like, they have stuff in glass tubes at the CDC that if ever got out, it'd wipe out humanity in a matter of moments, hours, days. I mean, there's some weird shit out there.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it exists. There's mushrooms down in the rainforest that if you harvested and used them in the right way would create stuff. I mean, there's fungus growing in South America that could wipe out the planet. I'm telling you, there's weird stuff. You talk about the earth just shaking you off. If we were truly in some giant smallpox pandemic or something like that, you don't avoid it. You don't avoid it by touching your mask or wearing some little paper mask or anything like that. Only argument that anybody ever makes is, well, it keeps you from spitting on me. Oh my God. I mean, I'm not, how many people are you walking around spitting on?
You know a lot of spit talkers.
Yeah, but I don't get it. If you and I were sitting across from the table at one another and you were constantly spitting on my face when you were talking, I wouldn't sit across from you at the table.
Well, I have to enunciate.
You might enunciate.
I just hope they don't bring buffets back where you serve yourself.
I love me some buffets.
Well, remember the old ones? Like, I guess it was like Luby's. They served
They
it for
serve
you.
you.
Yeah, that
not
ain't
like
a buffet.
Golden Corral, that's
Buffet,
a true
you
buffet.
keep going back.
Like the Western Sizzler.
The Ryans or the Golden Corral, or the AA Chinese Kung Fu Barbecue. That's some good stuff.
There's some buffet restaurant owner on here pissed off at me now. Sorry.
Well, I love them. I got friends who they've always refused. Ain't no way I'm going to eat off something people been spitting on all day long. Oh, please. It's good food.
When you go to the potato patch.
We don't go to buffets at my house.
You go to the potato patch, they throw...
The potato patch?
Yeah, there's this place that I used to go to called the Potato Patch, and they throw your rolls to you. Because if they ain't worth catching, they ain't worth eating. So I don't think they even use gloves.
No.
They're like...
Hawk one out of there and go wipe your ass.
Catch it.
Go to the bread market. I mean, it's bread laying out everywhere.
The pandemic didn't just test our country's economic endurance. It exposed how living an unhealthy lifestyle can increase your risk. That's why I recommend you take Field of Greens by Brickhouse Nutrition every single day. I mean, let's face it. You want to stay healthy, it's what you put in your mouth. And I don't mean spit. I mean, you got to put some nutritious stuff in there. Field of Greens is going to help you. You got a lot of health products out there that boast about one vegetable. Look, Field of Greens packed with 12 clinically researched essential fruits and vegetables, plus green tea, ginger, turmeric, and beets. And the powerful combination not only supports heart health, supports a healthy immune system, metabolism, blood pressure, and digestion. Field of Greens is loaded with antioxidants, pre- and probiotics. Just put a scoop in a glass of water, stir it up, drink it, you're done. So don't settle for one vegetable when you can have the entire Field of Greens. I want you to go to brickhousechad.com today and save 15% off a 30-day supply with offer code CHAD. Subscribe, save an extra 10% every month. Turn your body into a brick house with Field of Greens today. BrickHouseChad.com. Use offer code CHAD. We'll be right back. See how red my eye is?
What happened?
Puked.
Again?
I told you I got a hiatal hernia.
But are you a puker in general? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm a puker in general.
you are.
The hiatal hernia
Yeah.
makes me vomit. You'd think I'd be skinnier. But no, I'm not. I'm not.
Okay.
My weight, man. Oh, it's terrible. Complain about it a lot. Netflix indicted by Texas grand jury over that Cuties film. Remember that deal? Did you watch that?
I did. I only watched the trailer for it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the show.
Lewd visual material of a child in connection with the release of the controversial French film Cuties. The Texas grand jury, they indicted Netflix on that.
Yeah. Okay.
They knowingly promote visual material which depicts the lewd exhibition of the genitals or pubic area of a clothed or partially clothed child who was younger than 18 years of age at the time the visual material was created, which appeals to the prurient interest in sex and has no serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No.
What do you
It
think
was
about
number
that?
one on Netflix for a while.
What do you think about that? Them getting in trouble.
I agree with it wholeheartedly. Anything that sexualizes children, specifically young girls, things like dance scenes and things like that. Now, I got into a big debate with our good friend Sydney Watson the other day. And, you know, Sydney and I, every time we're together, we debate. She just likes to fight. Australian women, you know what I'm saying? But we have some spirited debates. And there was another show. I was over at Elijah Schaefer's, and we were all sitting there and we were watching this documentary. It wasn't Cuties. It was another one about that guy in East Texas who is the transvestite, but he has the competition dance program that he does over there. And they were showing what I considered to be some pretty lewd exhibition of these kids dancing, you know, with a lot of skin showing. And I'm like, that's not right. And she's like, why is it not right? Because he's transvestite and he's teaching this class? And I'm like, not specifically, because he's not engaging in transvestism while he's teaching the class. That's one thing. It's all about his lifestyle, which I don't, you know, the stuff that he's doing, I'm not condoning. But because it's more than just dressing up like a woman in this show. He's doing other things in the show that I'm like, yeah, no, I can't condone that, especially if this person has access to these small children like he does.
Where is it in East Texas? No. Okay.
I want to say Tyler. I think it's Tyler.
Do you know the name of the show?
Can't think of it right now.
I can look it up.
Yeah. I don't know that I ever knew the name of it, but it follows his deal. And anyway, do it at the break.
I will.
Or do it now, whatever you want to do, Natalie. But the girls are not wearing much as far as clothing, and they're dancing around and stuff like that. And I tried to explain, I said, if you understand the mind of a man specifically who struggles with this form of perversion, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much for his brain to go to that place, right? And to have issues with that. Did you find it?
No.
And that's one of those things that's kind of
okay. I'll look later.
Different cultures around the world look at it differently.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not saying I think it's not for me, and I wouldn't want my girls, you know, when they were young dancing like that.
Well, different cultures around the world. I mean, if you did it in the Middle East, they'd cut your head off.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be like other cultures in the world. I said this 30 years ago walking through the airport in Frankfurt, Germany. just looking at their ads that are on the posters of the wall, right? These fashion posters and perfume posters, and I mean, topless women and stuff. This was 25, 30 years ago. And I said, that's America in 20 years. Now, with the advent of the internet and social media, things have sped up so much. It doesn't take 20 years for cultural things to leak over. They leak over almost immediately. So I can remember being in the airport in Paris and seeing the way women would dress in Paris very provocatively. And this was back in the 90s. Very provocatively. They thought nothing of it. That was just their day-to-day. Here's a woman walking around, beautiful girl walking around with a V-neck white T-shirt, no bra underneath. And I mean, that's just how it is. It's Paris.
But she's a grown woman.
Yeah, but my point is that was acceptable there. It wasn't acceptable then in America. It is now.
Yeah.
It is now. It's just, it's very exposing. And again, I go back to the mind of a man. Men are visually stimulated, okay? So that being, typically they're visually stimulated. That being that way, some men very much struggle with certain addictions or certain turn-ons, certain things that push their buttons, and it leads them into, in many cases, a very bad place. At the very least, it leads them into places of temptation.
Sure.
Okay? Some people can handle that. Some people can't handle that. Some people have to find a way to satisfy that addiction or satisfy that temptation, and it's not always in the healthiest of ways. So my position of debate was that why even bring that out? Why can't, there's nothing wrong. People say, well, you're just too puritanical. I am not puritanical at all. At all. But why do we have to flaunt it out there? Why do we have to put it out there? I mean, we're inundated with images. We're inundated everywhere from Instagram to the internet. I mean, it's just, we live in a day and age where the idea of the Instagram model is a thing, right? They're all out there. You're inundated with these images. There's been studies that say that if a man sees an image like that, he can recall it 90 times vividly in his mind. That's just, men are that visually stimulated. And it's not to say that women aren't. But why even continue pushing the envelope?
You have to be real careful there, because then you get in the mentality of blaming a victim versus a rapist.
Which you don't. I'm not. But why? If that's like saying, well, I'm gonna blame the fish, or I'm gonna blame the bait for getting bit by the fish. Okay, throw the lure out there. It is going to attract attention. I'm not blaming the lure. I'm not blaming the person, but you are. Why even attract undue attention to yourself?
Are you talking about children? Are you talking about
I'm talking
adults?
about anyone. I'm talking about anyone. But when you start bringing children into it, then it gets to be very dangerous. Because if I'm going to dress a child to look like an adult, that's problematic. That's problematic.
I agree with you on that.
I mean, that's problematic. I don't want my child. I've got a really good friend. He's a good friend of all of ours. They posted a picture of one of their kids the other day. And I texted them and I said, you might consider taking that down. Now, I'm not the guy who ever does anything like that. They're like, really? That didn't cross my mind. I was like, I want you to go back and look at that picture and think through the mind of just the average strange man that's out there and how they might see that picture of your daughter. And they said, don't worry about it, already deleted. Maybe that's me erring on the side of too much caution. But I just know in the mind of a man, certain men that are out there in the age of human trafficking and the age of these visual things that are being just thrown at people day in and day out, you just got to be careful.
But
I'm aligned with the children part. I don't know. I would have to discuss more about the adult, because I spent seasons in a Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders uniform.
We'll get into that. We'll keep this conversation
haven't talked
going.
about it, but I know exactly who you're talking about and the picture.
Yeah.
And I thought, just didn't like the way it was,
Hey, I'm really excited about our new partners at Bonner Private Wines. Excited to have them as a part of the show, and going to have some of their wine here on the show to be able to showcase. Will Bonner, the partnership of Bonner Private Wine Partnership is about 1,000 wine lovers who come together to import great small batch wines that a lot of times might get overlooked by the large importers. It's Argentine wine, and they founded this. They fell in love with Argentine wine when the family moved to Buenos Aires in the early 2000s, came back to the U.S., and Will found himself disappointed at the cheap mass-produced juice disguised as a fine wine in a local shop. So their mission was to search the world for unknown, underappreciated, but astounding wines. And Bonner Private Wine Partnership, the beauty of it is they don't care about the labels. They don't care about points. They don't charge big markups. There's no middleman. They offer no additive packed supermarket wines. There's no inflated cost. Their wines are all about the character of the wine. So there's so much stuff. They've got incredible Malbecs that are grown at these altitudes of like 9,000 plus feet, which creates a very distinct flavor and crop of grapes out there. And it's a beautiful, beautiful wine. I can't wait for you guys to try it. Those vineyards that are up in those mountains, just absolutely insane how good they are. So I want you to get bottles of 3 wines, 200 years in the making, at 47% off while the supplies last. Normally those wines are about $130. You can get it for $69, all 3 bottles, by going to cowboywines.com. That's cowboywines.com. Don't know how much longer this special part of the world with this ages of old world wine tradition is going to last, so go to cowboywines.com today. Be right back. So you mentioned being a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I get that. Look, I'm not a prude.
I know.
In that regard.
I know.
And that's not what I'm saying at all. But I also know my limitations,
Mm-hmm.
and I know. But let's face it, there's a reason why they dress Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders the way they dress.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be provocative.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be tempting. It's supposed to be revealing. It's supposed to be all of those things. So at the end of the day, there are some folks who can handle that, and there's some folks who can't handle that. I mean, that's just a general fact of human nature.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can see that. Again, we had someone at an event recently who comes up and confronted one of the speakers at the thing because he felt like her skirt was too short. And I'm like, one, that's not your place to come up and confront that figure, that public figure, about what she's wearing, just because you have an issue. It turns out that the guy had a former addiction to some things. And again, now he's projecting his problem on somebody else. But it's a real issue. We're getting inundated with sexual images in our culture these days. So whether you're an adult or not, I'm of the opinion where we just got to be careful, because what you do is, when it comes to the children, you keep promoting, you normalize all of these things. You normalize it, and then it becomes okay for you to dress the kids that way too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I refer back to this dance show. I mean, why are there halter top tight, sports bras that these girls are dancing in, and they're 7, 8 years old? They don't have breasts. Put on a t-shirt.
Right.
Put on a t-shirt. Put on some kind of, put on a leotard that covers everything. I mean, again, I've got a daughter who is a university student on a dance scholarship. I understand dance culture.
Mm-hmm.
See, people want to come at me and all this stuff, and I'm like, they have the debates. I'm like, oh, I'm a dance dad. I understand dance culture. I've seen it all. But, I also understand that there are ways around that.
I think from the adult perspective, I think you're so right with today you get inundated with so much that really the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders uniform is modest compared to what you have access to. I mean, it's more than a swimsuit, right? I mean, it's covering, and there are even tights on their legs during the game, but it is a sexy costume. It's why I tried out, because I really like that uniform.
It's sexy, of course it is. I mean, when I was a kid, my brother had the posters.
You don't need an 8 and 9 year old sexy.
No. No, and the DCC uniforms that they have for the junior DCC, it's a one piece. It's really cute, little one piece, blue all the way down.
I mean, you got to understand, women are beautiful, period. Okay? Women are beautiful. Thank God created women. I mean, I go back to the old Dice Clay thing. I don't know how a dude can look at another dude's hairy butt and be like, oh, yeah. I got to have that. I just don't, thank God for women, right? And I say that with zero disrespect whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with admiring beauty. Women do it to men. Women do it to each other.
Yes.
I mean, I always say when women get dressed up, put on all their makeup and go out, they're not doing it for the guy. They're doing it for the other women that are going to see them. Mm-hmm. So, I love all my friends that are out there. And conservative women look way better than liberal women. I mean, there's no question about that. Way better.
Maybe spend a little more time in front of the mirror.
Just come on, go down to TPUSA in December with me at the Student Action Summit. I mean, there's some beautiful kids down there, beautiful people down there. They're modest, they're smart. But I mean, you talk about the cheerleaders. Look, I've been to plenty of NFL games or even college games, and the girls are out there in their sweatpants, right? Their warm-up pants and their sweatshirts, and I'm like, you're just as beautiful that way. I don't have to see skin on you to think you're a beautiful person, attractive person. You know what I'm saying?
But when they take them sweats off,
but see, for me, the way I'm wired, that doesn't change anything for me. That doesn't change anything for me. I mean, am I going to look? Well, yeah, I'm going to look, but I'm going to look at you with sweatpants on too.
I'm going to look too.
Yeah, of course you are. But I mean, that's our human nature to check things out. But at the same time, I can look without falling into some kind of crazy, lustful addiction. But not everybody's wired that way. Mm-hmm. Not everybody's wired that way.
That's true.
Some folks can't handle it at all. Yeah. And so when you start having children mimicking adult, I mean, you call me what you want to call me. Call me, puritanical in thought or judgmental. I'm not judgmental at all. You know this. I mean, I'm a to each their own kind of person, but I'm also wired in such a way to where I can live in a world where to each their own functions. Does that make sense?
Yes, and if I put myself, let's say I was a parent of one of those children that is on that show, and I look at it from that perspective, do I really want men looking at my daughter in a sexual way when she's 8 years old?
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening.
And they had some of these kids like dancing, and they had it slow motion. It was very artistic and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, that kid's 6, 7, 8 years old. I don't need to see an artistic expression of dance through a scantily clad 8-year-old girl. That's just not. So I'm of the opinion that, back to the original thing. I'm glad they did the indictment against Netflix for airing that. They shouldn't do it. And Cuties really pushed the envelope.
As I say, if nothing else, put them in check.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that kind of stuff just needs at some point in time, there's got to be some form of virtue that's left in our culture. Sure.
I agree.
I mean, it can't just be a free-for-all. We can't just have sexual anarchy that just turns everything loose and then bitch about the results and consequences that come from it. You alluded to the rape thing. Well, okay, there are people out there who are evil and they're going to do evil things. But why encourage it? Why encourage temptation to where maybe there's somebody out there who wouldn't do those things, but they felt the temptation and they felt some kind of... Now, does that excuse it? Absolutely not. Hear me, absolutely not. But there's ways that I think we can keep some virtue in our society. I mean, now you go to Steve's house, he's got your picture on the wall.
Underneath Brooks.
Yeah.
He's got one by the bed. There's a framed picture of you by his bed.
No, it's not on my side of the bed, though.
Is it on Tony's side?
It's on Tony's side of the bed. So.
In your DCC uniform.
Scantily clad DCC.
Oh, I wish I didn't have muffin top. That was so good back then.
I mean, anyway.
Well, also right there's a nude painting that hangs in our living room.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's got a bullet hole in it.
Yep. That's a long story. But
that's a long story. It used to be hanging in a bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like an over-the-bar kind of painting, old antique deal, but
it is.
I don't think I couldn't agree with you more from the children's perspective. From the adult perspective, at some point, I also understand from a woman's point of, just like they got rid of the Mavs dancers, you know? Well, that's a shame. That you get rid of a dance team. Those were phenomenal athletes, great dancers, and that was their chance in the NBA.
Agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And again, I'm a dance dad. I get it.
And those are adult women, and those are adult men with their own challenges. But let her do what she's going to do.
You got to deal with your ish on your own terms, and you can't blame the person. I get that. And I'm in no way putting it off on the woman.
Yeah.
Or anybody else.
Because a woman doesn't want to be sidelined because you can't handle what's in your own brain.
If your takeaway is that that's what I'm saying, it's not what I'm saying at all.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember a year or so ago that even like the high school cheerleaders got in trouble for the twerking.
Yeah.
And do they ban that from like, you know, kids, the sexual movements from like cheer, like high school cheer or even younger cheer?
Well, they oughta.
That's still children, right? I mean, that's under 18.
They oughta. All right, y'all hang tight. Be right back. So the name of the show is Dancing Queen. Mesquite. It's over in Mesquite.
Dancing Queen.
I went too far east. That guy was on RuPaul's Drag Race. And, yeah.
Okay.
There you go. So, that's the deal. Dancing Queens. I think it's on Netflix, too.
I'm going to watch it.
I think I'll pass.
I mean, it's don't get me wrong. I mean, it's an entertaining documentary. It doesn't go where Cuties goes.
Yeah.
But there's just certain scenes and images in there. Mostly it's these dance moms getting pissed off because of the dance competition teams. And you know, these moms, they're like pageant moms that get so fired up. And so that's the entertaining part of it.
That's a real thing.
And he just don't understand why he's being attacked.
Oh. Listen, dance mom, any competitive mom.
It's true.
It's real.
We're going to Utah. And Party Foul Steve's going to twerk on stage. They're at Wise Guys in West Jordan.
Doubtful.
West Jordan, Utah. We're going to be there Friday and Saturday. 2 shows. No, it's not.
Two Friday,
two Friday and 2 Saturday. You can get the information at watchchad.com is the spot. We just had phenomenal shows in Kansas City as well as Omaha, Nebraska. Then we're going to go from Utah to West Palm Beach. Going to be there 4 days. I think we're doing like 5 shows in 4 days.
5 or 6 shows.
5 or 6 shows. It's a lot. I think it's 6, actually.
I think it is, too.
And then Greenville, South Carolina on the 30th and the 1st of November. So go to watchchad.com. It's where all the fun stuff is. Hot news, Natalie. You lovely. Sorry for all the burps today. My hernia is acting up. I'm falling apart. I got busted blood vessels in my eyes. And Party Foul Steve just stresses me out.
Well, I'm not sorry that I said you sound like Satan when you burp.
Well, I'm not sorry you said it either.
Thank you.
Lou Cipher.
Lou Cipher.
I know a guy named Lou Cipher. Can you imagine naming your kid Lucifer?
Nope. No, that's bad. It's like Damien.
That's funny.
Don't do it.
Somebody said our show isn't funny enough. We need to add more humor to this show on Blaze. And I said, why don't you sit around and write jokes for an hour-long show every day, buddy?
Yeah.
Chump. We got Twitter Bird only on BlazeTV.
I think you're funny.
I don't know.
I'm funny.
Well, no.
Steve's funny.
I love y'all. God bless you. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.